Mungu nguvu yetu, ilete baraka kwetu. Haki iwe ngao na mlinzi, na tukae na udugu, amani na uhuru, raha tupate na ustawi. Ee Mungu, twaomba uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuwajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Thank you. Please remain standing for the prayer. George?
Let's bow down our heads and pray. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Father, we come before you this wonderful morning, O Lord, as we surrender ourselves unto you, because you are the King of kings and the Lord of lords. Father, you have taught us that whatever we do, we need to humble ourselves and come before you with a lot of humility in our hearts. Father, we welcome your presence this wonderful morning as we launch the second Kenya strategy for development of statistics and the national plan for advancement of environmental economic accounting reports. Father, we surrender unto you, and we pray, King of Kings, that may your presence be with us as we start this session. May you continue to usher us with your wisdom as we remember the national government, as we remember the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, and the entire board members and the entire KNBS family, as we remember the development partners, those who have partnered with us to ensure this day is a success. As we remember the national and both national and county governments, O King of Glory, and various stakeholders that you have brought us here as we witness this noble occasion. Father, we pray for your presence to be with us as we start it, and we have surrendered each and every program into your able hands. Father, may you bless us, for this is my humble prayer in the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Thank you, George. Please be seated. I wish to invite KNBS Director General, Dr. MacDonald Obudo, to officially welcome you to this function and make his remarks. Karibu DG. Let's appreciate DG as he makes.
To our PS who is on the way coming, Dr. Boniface Makoha, that is the PS in charge of State Department for Economic Planning. The Board of Directors of Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, headed by the Chairman of the Board, Dr. Daniela Amanja. My colleague, Executive Director of KIPRA, Dr. Elda Onsomu, who is here with us. The Director General, National Coordination Mechanism on Migration, Dr. Dan Opon. I saw him, but now I'm not seeing him. Then we have the Chief Officer, Economic Planning, Nairobi City County, John Lintari, who is also with us here today. Our development partners, headed by the UN resident representative and representing the UN resident coordinator, Madam Madalena Monoja, who is here with us. The Statistics Sweden representative, we have Eliasen Gomez. Our colleague from the ONS, that is Office of the Statistics UK, we have Bwana Theodore with us here. The Executive Director, SDG Kenya Forum, Madam Florence Siovuo, who is also with us here. We have a gentleman whose title has changed, and this gentleman is growing from strength to strength, and that is Davis Adieno, who is the Global Lead for Innovation and Business Development at the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data. Davis is here with us. Actually, in his other line, when you speak to him, I realize that I'm talking to a serious architect, and so if you have issues along that line, Adieno is an architect, and he's always available for consultation. The colleagues, all my colleagues from Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, I know we have a number of players from different institutions. I can see a team from NCPD. I can see my friend is here, Ezekiel from UNFPA, and of course I've seen Julius Chokera also from UNDP, and Benson Kimani. We have a big team of players from different areas, both from government, development partners, and the non-state players, that is the civil society organizations with us here. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Now, today is really a special day that we have, and I can tell you, if you happen not to like theater and you are here, you must be a happy guy, because in our today's occasion, we are not going to mention any numbers. I don't think I've presided over an activity of this magnitude where we don't talk about numbers. We have 2 reports to launch today, and none of them is speaking about statistics other than maybe the cost to undertake them. And to me, without numbers, then it becomes a bit dull. But all the same, it is a moment where we are trying to come up with a number of frameworks, statistical frameworks, that are meant to guide our processes in a manner that they are standardized at the global level and customized also to meet our needs as a country. And so you must realize that in the recent past, we have tried coming up with certain frameworks. For example, The other time, we came up with the Kenya Statistical Quality Assurance Framework, which then brings on board the technical ways of doing statistics. We also came up with the Kenya Statistical Code of Practice, which deals with the ethical issues of how to produce statistics. And so today, we are having another set of frameworks that are meant to guide us beyond today. And so we have the second Kenya Statistical, the Kenya Statistical Strategy for Development of Statistics, the KSDS II. The first one covered 2019 to 2023. And so since then, we have been working on the next one, which is also going to guide us for the next 5 years. And so it is ready. It has been very collaborative, having a number of players participating in it. This is where we bring together all our all our stakeholders under the National Statistical System to play a role and get to see how do we strengthen statistical units within the institutions so that generation of data becomes easy, putting them together would be easy, and we speak the same language because then we're using the same classification, the same definitions, the same standards, the same methodology. And that is when we are able to inform development in this country. Without that collaborative effort, it is not possible. And thank God that the Statistics Act, which is we are now calling the Statistics Act Cap 112, 2022, as it has been rearranged, provides for that element of coordination and supervision of the players within the national statistical system. And it also gives us the room to work together with the county governments to produce statistics. You remember in the Constitution, it provides for concurrent function at the national and the county level when it comes to statistical matters. But then for us to do things in a uniform manner, then there has to be some linkage. And this is what is provided for in the Act, and it gives us now room to really work together as a team. And thank the county governments for ensuring that this is the process that we are taking together, and that's what has brought us to where we are today. So the other framework that we are also dealing with is the National Plans for Advancement of Environmental Economic Accounting, which then looks into the element of how do we account for what we are using in the area of energy. What does it account for? What is it that we are able to account for? How do we account for what we are consuming in the forest? Land degradation. How do we account for all these? And these are the areas that we are going to have presentation in to let us get to make us understand what all these mean. And this is also another plan that is going to guide us in this area of even trying to deal with the climate change, which is a global concern. And so that's what we are here for. I would leave it at that and take the program back to my MC. But as I do that, I've also noted that there's a team that is following us virtually. And so I recognize all those who are following through the link that has been provided. It is important for us to move as a team. Normally when we release statistics, at times, unfortunately, you get to hear people saying, no, we don't trust this, we don't trust that. Colleagues, it is a long process to generate statistics. It is a very long process. Those who are in it can tell you that we go through a lot to come to have what we are able to share with the public. What is important is to really follow. You don't need to be a statistician, but you just need to have an idea of what we go through to really bring the indicators out that we should be consuming. What we produce is meant to be consumed not just by the government or the development partners, but also the general public up to the household level. And that goes beyond our borders, because then when you're dealing with comparison of statistics across the globe, then same standards are applied. If it's not the same standard, then you cannot compare a goat and a sheep, even if they are of the same size. They have certain differences, characteristics that would make them different. So for that reason, we are required to conform to the internationally agreed standards. So I would leave it at this. The Bureau is currently undertaking a number of functions, and I have more than, I think around 2/3 of the Bureau that is meant to sit at the headquarters being away in Nakuru, where we have been doing training for the last 25 days to undertake what we call the Kenya Integrated Household Budget Survey. It is a survey that is conducted for a whole year to take care of all the seasons when the prices are changing and the production of items are also changing, so that it gives us the poverty numbers. It will give us the benchmark to undertake several other activities, including coming up with a frame for the CPI that we produce every month. So when we produce CPI every month, it is not just starting from that month. It is starting from Integrated Household Budget Survey to design what we use for CPI. They are related. So a large team is out there. Another team is also dealing with the census of schools, trying to finalize on the report for the activity that we did last year. That will give us serious information concerning schools in terms of enrollment, in terms of teaching staff, the skills, adequacy, infrastructure, the equipment that are required, the land ownership, all that. And so it is a rich document that will be coming out. So that explains, if you know some people in the Bureau and you're not seeing them today, kindly get to understand that we had to divide ourselves in a way to take care of everything that is happening. Thank you for that. So we have a very short time actually to do all this today, because our PS is coming in at some point so that he can officiate over this. But as that one is happening, we had agreed that we deal with a number of activities today. So Madam Katunge, I think you can come back, because I don't know what you wanted us to do after this. Thank you.
Thank you, DG. Let's appreciate DG. So as we organize to have the podium back on the stage, I wish to now welcome my sister and my friend, a very vibrant lady. As she walks in and stands before you, you'll just feel the glow. Let's put our hands together for the Executive Director, SDGs Kenya Forum, Madam Florence Sievuo. That's the Kikamba way.
Good morning. Let me start with the protocol. I always say we come from civil society, and it's very hard many times to do this protocol. Please bear with me. Dr. Boniface Makoa, the Principal Secretary, State Department of Economic Planning. I know he'll be joining us very soon. Dr. Daniel Mwirigi, the Chairman of the Board of Directors, KNBS. Dr. McDonald Obuto, the Director General of KNBS. I know we have very many other extinguished guests, but let me also recognize development partners, UN Resident Coordinator's Office, Ms. Magdalena Manoja, Statistical Sweden, Mr. Gomez, and of course my very good friend, Davis Adieno from the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data. And so, and all other colleagues, all protocol observed, please feel appreciated and thank you very much for this opportunity to be able to speak before you all, but also for us as civil society organizations to have an opportunity within this particular program. And I see a lot of my colleagues from civil society in the room. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pride and optimism that I stand before you today to speak on behalf of very many of us as civil society organizations. I'm talking about community-based organizations, national and international organizations that are very, very key within the statistical system under the SDG Kenya Forum. Let me start by huge congratulations to the National Bureau of Statistics, especially because of the role of the National Statistical System Coordination Mechanism for this collective effort. And most of us have really followed this process, and we are really, really glad that it's been a very open process. We've sat around the table to contribute to this document that is being launched here today, and we can speak with confidence that we've been part and parcel of this process. So thank you very much, and congratulations to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. We, the civil society organizations, appreciate the partnership we've had with the Bureau. And I say this because if you speak to many of our colleagues across Africa, there's a lot of complaints many times in terms of the partnership between non-state actors and the Bureau and the National Bureau of Statistics. And so this has been a very, very good and productive experience, but also partnership. And so within, under our Memorandum of Understanding that we launched last year, it has enabled us as civil society organizations to sit at the same table with the state agencies without prejudice. And so therefore, the launch of this second Kenyan strategy for the development of statistics is just but one example of our collective achievement. And so we are proud that within the short time that we've come together, within the short time that we've had a Memorandum of Understanding, we've been able to, of course, work together with all the government agencies and other partners to come up with this Kenya Strategy for Development of Statistics, the second one. To us, as civil society organization, this strategy is more than just a document. It's a living framework that defines how we, as a nation, across different sectors, ministries, departments, and agencies, and also counties, will produce, manage, and utilize data to drive sustainable development. Our civil society contribution is evident through our citizen-generated data engagements, issues of gender and inclusive data, and other joint coordinating mechanisms. And so we hope that as we continue with this journey, the Bureau and all these development partners, you can always continuously recognize this great contribution that comes from civil society organizations. The implementation of this KSDS II will provide clear strategic direction for enhancing our capacity as civil society organizations to not only produce, disseminate data, but also to promote the use of high-quality citizen-generated data and statistics across all the SDGs and sectors of the economy where data is missing. And so this is the clarion call, where we know that there's a lot more that can be done. There's a lot of data and statistics that is still not being collected in this country, and we can come together, we can continue to partner and ensure that we are leaving no one behind through the SDG principle of making sure that collectively we work as one. Additionally, with only less than 5 years to the 2030 mark on sustainable development, we are in an era where policies and key development decisions must be informed by evidence and facts. Thus, with this strategy, it will serve as the foundation for ensuring availability of high-quality statistics for evidence-based policy making, efficient public service delivery. And so we are glad that we can work together to ensure that it's not just about, as the DG said, production of statistics, but it's just also important for us to utilize it and showcase Kenya making evidence-based decision as a government, but also as different stakeholders and also the public service delivery engagement. Today, guided by our strategic goal of advancing gender equality discussions and accountability in Kenya as the forum, we recognize the need to ensure that implementation of the new KSDSS is aligned to the Gender Sector Statistical Plan, the GSSP, as well as regional and global data needs for inclusivity and leaving no one behind. And so one of our great interests as a forum, one of our great interests as a civil society is to make sure that we also put a spotlight on issues of gender equality. As we embark on this new phase, we are called upon to build on these gains. The second KSDSS outlines strategic priorities and measurable targets. When you look at the document, you'll be glad to see this. That will help us strengthen data ecosystem. It will help us embrace innovation, improve coordination across the NSS, and most importantly, enhance the use of data at all levels of decision making, from grassroots to the national level. Gone are the days where decisions can only be made at national level. How do we ensure that even from a grassroots perspective, our counties, our mothers, those in our villages can also partake to these great initiatives? Let us all remember, reliable statistics are the bedrock of good governance and effective development. And so the issue of statistics for us is to ensure that we can continuously showcase good governance and effective development for all. Without them, we are navigating blindly. And so that's why this meeting and this launch is very, very important. With them, we can plan confidently, act decisively, and measure our progress objectively. And this is what the Kenya we want needs to be. We need to continuously showcase objectivity in terms of development, objectivity in terms of our investments as a country. In closing, I urge all stakeholders who are in the room and those watching us online and many others that will follow this launch to commit to the implementation of this strategy with the seriousness and the dedication that it requires. For the very first time, we as the different stakeholders, we've come together to contribute and also to ensure there's this second strategy, which maybe the first one was not the same because of the involvement of all of us, and therefore it's time for us to prove that this kind of collaborations can work. So let us work together to ensure that Kenya remains a leader in statistical development on the continent. And I know the DG has a lot of pressure. Many meetings, everywhere we go, we have been asked, what is Kenya doing? We have been told to showcase our partnerships. We've been told to showcase how we are navigating some of this very creative and innovation that we've taken up in issues of statistics and data. And so we need to ensure that where data is not only collected, but also respected, shared, and used to transform lives. And I believe this is the bigger call. It's not just about producing statistics. It's about making sure that we can respect each other's citizens, but also we can share the aspirations from an evidence-based perspective, and we can transform the lives of our people. So I hope with that, we'll continue to work together, and thank you very much for this opportunity, and I hope that we can come back, Bona DG, to showcase the steps that we've taken and the landmarks that we've achieved as a collective. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Thank you, Florence. Just to bring you up to speed, SDGs Kenya Forum supported this launch through supporting the printing and layout of the main report, the pocket version, and of course, the live streaming. Asante sana SDGs Kenya Forum. Let's appreciate that. Thank you. I now wish to invite Ms. Madalena Monoja, the UNDP resident representative, and she's also representing the Office of the UN Resident Coordinator. Welcome. Let's appreciate the lady. Thank you.
Good morning, colleagues. Let me just start by the quick salutations. Dr. Boniface Mokoha, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Economic Planning, the Director General of KNBS, Dr. McDonald, the Chairman of KNBS Board, Dr. Daniel Amanja, the board members of KNBS, distinguished government officials represented in the room, colleagues from the UN and colleagues from the civil society, and all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning once again. On behalf of UNDP in Kenya, and indeed on behalf of the resident coordinator, the UN resident coordinator in Kenya, I'm very pleased to really be here this morning. As has been said already by the KNBS Director General and my sister Florence, indeed, data is the beginning of planning. It's very difficult to plan without data, or at least credible data. It's very difficult to measure progress. As we all know, we are, what is it now? We are what? 2025 is only 5 years towards the conclusion or the timeline for the current SDG framework. And hence, having credible data that can enable Kenya, indeed, be able to set indicators that are measurable and that they can demonstrate progress even annually, but in the lead up to 2030 is a very important milestone. And in that, then I really congratulate the KNBS and all the members and all the partners, including civil society, who contributed to the development of these two key and strategic documents that will be launched today. Both documents mark significant steps in strengthening the national data ecosystem and advancing sustainable development. The KSDS II provides a structured and forward-looking framework for planning, producing, and disseminating data and statistics that meet user needs. It also offers a clear guide for enhancing statistical capacity and coordination across the national statistical system. I'm particularly encouraged by the inclusive and consultative process that shaped this strategy, including from all partners as well as UN colleagues, and some of them who are represented here. The process brought together members of the national statistical system and other key actors across the data landscape. The fact that priorities were identified through such broad engagement ensures that the strategy enjoys wide ownership, which is essential for effective implementation. The KSDS II is grounded in 4 strategic focus areas that Florence outlined very well. I wouldn't repeat them again. But it's indeed a continuation of this work through the KSDS II and modernize and align Kenya's data infrastructure with regional and international standards. And key among them is the SDG, the cooperation framework in Kenya, as well as the global SDG framework. Ladies and gentlemen, turning to the National Plan for the Advancement of Environmental Economic Accounting, I commend you once again for charting this strategic path. I was in my greetings this morning to the Director General for KNBS, I would say even for UN in Kenya, it has always been very difficult to set measurable targets and indicators on all aspects to do with natural resource management, whether it's the water sector, whether it's the energy sector, or in other broader areas of work in environment, in the forestry sector, because of proper quantifiable data. And it's even difficult to design programs and resource mobilize for them without really data that we can clearly quantify the needs and how we will be able to measure the progress and the results that will be achieved. So indeed, the development and the launch of this document today is key, a milestone to ensure that even within the UN, we are then able to set proper milestones, even as we support Kenya's achievement of its national SDG targets. Kenya's natural capital, its forests, water, land, mineral, and ecosystem is central to its economy and to the well-being of its people. Yet these vital assets have often remained invisible in conventional economic metrics. Institutionalizing SIA makes natural capital count. It brings long overlooked environmental assets into the core of policy and planning processes. This shift could not be more timely, as I have already alluded to. Climate change is already affecting livelihoods, ecosystem, and the economy. The plan's integration of environmental and economic data strengthens Kenya's capacity to respond by enabling smarter, more resilient decision-making. It also supports national commitments to global frameworks, including the Paris Agreement, the Global Biodiversity Framework, and the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goals 13, 14, and 15. So I welcome the establishment of the 5 technical working committees and the identification of priority accounts such as energy, water, forests, land, and ecosystems and minerals. Such institutional architecture will be vital for coordinating action and sustaining momentum towards our ongoing development plans. In this regard, the UN in Kenya views data as a cornerstone of development. Without accurate, timely, and accessible data, we cannot make sound decisions or monitor progress. We cannot plan effectively or ensure that no one is left behind. That's why under the United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework for 2022-2027, we have prioritized support to national data systems. Together with government and partners, we have developed a joint program on strengthening data. This program seeks to improve the availability, accessibility, and use of human rights-based disaggregated data at national and county levels. It includes support for policy and legal frameworks, institutional coordination, and mobilization of resources with a strong emphasis on reaching populations at risk of being left behind. The objective of this joint program aligns closely with the goals of KSDS II, particularly in strengthening the legal and institutional foundation for statistics and promoting collaboration across the national statistical system. In addition, the UN in Kenya has also developed a joint program on nature financing that will benefit greatly from natural capital accounting. The integration of environmental economic data will support the design of sustainable financing models for biodiversity conservation and ecosystem resilience in Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, the United Nations in Kenya remains fully committed to working with government and partners to strengthen statistical systems and promote evidence-based planning. We will continue to support efforts to ensure that Kenya's data is accurate, complete, reliable, relevant, and timely, and that it informs development interventions that improve lives and protect our shared development aspirations. Once again, congratulations on this important milestone, and I wish you great success in the implementation of both strategies, and the UN in Kenya remains steadfast in its support to this goal, as well as in the larger and broader development of Kenya. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Monoja. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to introduce a gentleman who, as you can see, is making his way to the podium because he doesn't speak much. He represents Statistics Sweden, and this is Mr. Elysian Gomez. A hand for Mr. Gomez, please.
Thanks, Elva. This is short. Good morning. So, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends, It's a great honor for me to stand here today on behalf of Statistics Sweden. As a long-standing partner to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics and the National Statistical System. We are truly pleased to witness the successful development and the adoption of the second Strategy for Development of Statistics, KSDS II. This is a significant milestone, not only for KNBS, but for the entire country, as it sets a clear and forward-looking path, strengthening the statistical system, embracing innovation, and ensuring a high-quality, harmonized, and timely data so that decision makers at all levels can work with it. Through our cooperation project with KNBS, which is funded by the Swedish Embassy here in Nairobi, Statistics Sweden has had the privilege to support this important work. It has been productive, open, and constructive process, a testament to the professionalism and dedication within the Kenyan statistical system. However, as we all know, the adoption of the strategy is not a conclusion, but rather the beginning of a crucial new phase. The real work starts now. Implementing the strategy is translating words into results, building capacities, and coordinating effectively across the national statistical system will be essential for achieving the vision set out at KSDS II. For Statistics Sweden, the strategic work of coordinating the national statistical system is of utmost importance, both within our country, but also within our international partnerships. We are committed to continue standing alongside KNBS and the National Statistical System in Kenya as you move forward with the implementation of this strategy. I would also like to take this opportunity to extend some special words of appreciation to Dr. MacDonald Obudu, Director General of KNBS. Thank you for your strong leadership, for your vision and commitment to this process. Your guidance has been instrumental in making this strategy a reality. To Mr. Davis Adiano, your expert, moderation, insightful guidelines, and deep knowledge have provided an invaluable foundation for these discussions and in shaping this strategy. And finally, a very special thanks to Mrs. Sarah Omachi. Sarah, your tireless efforts, dedication, and relentless work behind the scenes have driven this process forward. Without your hard work, we wouldn't be standing here today with such a strong and well-prepared strategy. Once again, congratulations to KNBS and all involved in this activity. It has been a privilege for Statistics Sweden to be part of this important journey, and we look forward to continue our partnership in the years ahead. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, Gomez. In Swedish, I think you say tack. Tack. Statistics Sweden have supported us a lot in this process, the continuous stakeholder engagement, the venue that we are in right now, and the deco, the banners, and of course the breakfast you had. So thank you very much, Gomez. Let's appreciate Statistics Leader. Our next partner, really, not just speaker, but partner, is Theodore from the Office of the National Statistics UK, which we fondly refer to as ONS. Karibu sana. This guy has stayed here so long, he's even Kenyan now, right?
Asante sana. Good morning. Thank you very much for having me. I should start by acknowledging all the distinguished guests, especially the UN representative, the board of KNBS, the DG, and all the staff of KNBS. I'm sorry I didn't give you breakfast this morning. I didn't pay for the room, but I'm honored to be here. I should first speak about the National Plan for Advancement of Environmental Economic Accounting. The very first meeting I had with KNBS, it wasn't actually a meeting, it was a training that ONS were providing at Make You a Hotel. I happened to sit next to a lady who worked for KNBS, and she said, I work in environmental accounts. And we started talking, and then she said, I'm going to share with you a draft that we are working on so that you can provide some comments on it. And I'm not an environmental accountant or an environmental statistician, so I decided to give this document to one of our experts in the UK who actually sat on a lot of boards dealing with environmental accounting. And I said, can you review this and please provide any comments so that we can feed back to KNBS. After a week, he came back and said, this is the best plan I've ever seen, and I don't have any comments on it. So this is just to say congratulations to anyone and everyone that worked on that document. I think it's really a good testament to what my colleagues have already said so far regarding the work that KNBS is doing here in Kenya. And going to the KSDS II, I sort of got on board with that work a bit late when we went to Embu County for the validation exercise. And I should say it was one of the, in fact, the first time I had seen such broad collaboration and people coming together from all sectors who were contributing to the production of what we have here as a final document. Normally, when, as statisticians, we say we have collaborated on producing a strategy related to statistics, it's mostly working with other government departments that produce official statistics. But this was really and truly wide-ranging. And again, I would say congratulations to that. As Brother Gomez has just said now, this is just the beginning. Today is when we start the real work in terms of implementation. And what I would urge as a partner, a peer partner, collaborative partner, to not only KNBS, but to the whole of the national statistical system here in Kenya, is that we cannot implement a national strategy of the statistics in isolation. You are very lucky here in Kenya, and I think actually maybe progressive in that you also have a code of practice for statistics. If you pair these two and implement them alongside each other, then that's when you will have meaningful statistics that are going to inform evidence in terms of policy making and also in terms of evaluating what has been done. So I'm not going to take up too much time, but just to say once again To all the people who worked very hard, thank you and congratulations. And it's been a pleasure being a small part of that process. Thank you very much. Asante sana.
Thank you, Theo. You may not have given us breakfast, but you give us a lot of technical support at KNBS, and we appreciate you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to now introduce the architect, the global lead for innovation and business development at the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data, Mr. Davis Adieno. Karibu sana. Let's appreciate our architect.
Good morning. Hamjambo. Wow, where do I start? It's a cold morning, but this is a hot event. Do we agree? Who disagrees with me? Hands up. Who agrees with me? I can see a few hands down. When we're exiting, you'll not have tea and mandazi. But thank you so much. The Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, Dr. MacDonald, the entire board of directors, all the partners present. I don't want to go through the entire salutation, but just to say a massive congratulations. This has been a really incredible journey for all of us. And for me, really standing in front of you, I stand here very humbly, not on my behalf, but on behalf of all the partners who dedicated their time and resources to make KSDS II possible. And at this point, I'd like to ask everybody who was part of Murima 1, Murima 2, Murima 3, I want you to stand up. Please stand up. I think when we say this is not a KNBS document, people don't believe it. Please, everybody stand up. I can see all of you. Stand up. Otherwise, I'll come and pick you up. Munio, I can see you. You're not standing up. Everybody, please stand up. I'll start calling people by name. Thank you very much for a wonderful process. Very, very participatory. Let's clap for them, ladies and gentlemen. And this is just a third of the team that actually participated in producing KSDS II. So it's a collective document for all of us. You may sit down. And Bonadiji, Director of USEVWA, the NSS team, I would like you to stand up because people may not know you, some people may not know you. The NSS team that, and the senior leadership at KNBS that made this document possible, including the design team. I know you're somewhere. Let's give them a round of applause for an amazing job done. Gomez, please stand up because I would like to single you out. You are quiet, but you deliver in a big way and on short notice. Thank you so much for all the amazing support. I know there'll be formal thank yous, ladies and gentlemen. I just thought that all the speeches that have been read covered everything that I would have wanted to cover, so I thought I should do this differently. But to say, Sarah, huge congratulations to you. It's good to see women take leadership of such important national processes. Let's applaud her. So that is Sarah. She led the process and took us to some of the most amazing venues that KNBS has had. I think we all agree, even this is a departure from KICC, right? We're used to KICC. It's not a bad venue, but I think this is a bit more flowery. So thank you so much, KNBS team. You may sit. So, ladies and gentlemen, KSDS II lays a very firm foundation for the modernization and transformation of the entire NSS. It's not just for KNBS, for all of us, if you read it and read it carefully. And so I'd like to declare here that KSDS II, ladies and gentlemen, is indeed the future of KNBS. If you are out there in the world and you're watching closely the trends, KSDS II outlines the future of the National Bureau of Statistics and the entire statistical system. So let's take it seriously. Let's support in terms of implementation, because that's what matters the most. And our commitment as the global partnership for sustainable development data, together with all the amazing stakeholders in the room. I know FCDO is somewhere, ONS, Statistics Sweden, all the other development partners, the UN country teams. We look forward to working closely with you to deliver tangible results on this KSDS II document. I have two of my colleagues here, Lynette Kwamboka and Karen Bett. They work very hard with KNBS and other partners in the room. They indeed do all the work, and I stand up here to take all the credit. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you. And they will be actively participating in the delivery of this document. Lastly, how many of you have calendars in your phones? A smartphone, even if it's a Mulika Mwizi and it has a calendar. Please mark June 2nd to 5th, 2026. June 2nd to 5th, 2026, because the government of Kenya, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, State Department of Planning, the Kenya Space Agency, the Group on Earth Observations, and the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data will be hosting the next Global Data for Development Festival here in Nairobi. You are all invited, and we'll involve you in the planning of this premium global data event. We anticipate over 1,500 people brought from over 90 plus countries to celebrate, to learn, to exchange, and collaborate in a wide range of interactive spaces in what will be an exciting week for data, for statistics, and for Earth observations, including AI and emerging technologies. So we welcome partnership and collaboration in the planning. We've already started the planning, and we are really excited to be partnering with the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics and many other partners, including the UN country team, to deliver on this event. So I will pause there and say huge congratulations, and thank you so much for the privilege. It's been an honor being part of the process with many others, and we look forward to an exciting next couple of months, especially in November, when we'll be hosting another event to reflect on the progress we are making on this document. This time it's not going to the shelves in Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. Do we all agree? Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Davis. Let's appreciate Davis kindly. He's really warmed the place for us. Yeah. Our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is many things, but some of the things, or rather one thing that will resonate with KNBS DG and Director Avusevo and Theo is that the next speaker is a Ghana. The next speaker is a Ghana. This means the next speaker is an ardent supporter of Arsenal. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. John Lintari, the Chief Officer, Economic Planning, Nairobi City County. You can see how excited DG and Theo are about the Ghana story and how Director Avusevo is willing to hit you one. Thank you. Karibu.
That's on a light note. The DG of Kenya Bureau of Statistics, the board, and I would like to write on all established protocols. Good morning to you all. Barizenu. I said it's a very cold morning, but again, it's a very hot morning because of the discussion points that are there. So, ladies and gentlemen, as has been introduced, my name is John Lintari, CPA John Lintari. I'm the Chief Officer for Economic Planning, Nairobi County. It is my great pleasure to stand here today to witness the launch of the Kenya Strategy for Development of Statistics II and the National Plan for Advancement of Environmental Accounting. As Nairobi County, we cannot actually be able to underscore the need for data-driven decision-making. And I want to say that under Governor Sakaja, for the last, I think, 2 years, we have been key consumers of data, especially in many aspects. We've been able to work to revamp our revenue results, revenue strategies, especially in coining one of the key deliverable agenda of the governor, that's additional county, where we are currently feeding more than 300 students in a day. I think this is the result of the data that we're able to use. So it is my great pleasure really to acknowledge what data-driven decision-making is all about. So we cannot be able to really underscore this. So specifically, I want to commend you also for the continued effort in supporting all counties. I think KNBS have been able to support us immensely, and I can see a number of other development partners who have been able to be key in terms of supporting the county, in terms of the key decisions they've been able to make. So we want to thank you for supporting the county, in strengthening the support and the partnership of the development and use of official statistics to support sustainable development. Specifically, ladies and gentlemen, the Kenya KSDS II is a national-led strategy by the KNBS that is aimed at strengthening the country's national statistics systems, which aligns with the Kenya's development goals, especially the national, Vision 2050, the Big Four agenda, as well as other international commitments like sustainable development goals. Specifically, ladies and gentlemen, also, we've been able to see that this second KSDS has been able to improve, will be able to improve the coordination among statistical producers and users. It will also be able to help enhance data quality, availability, and timeliness, as well as promoting use in policy decision planning and monitoring. Ladies and gentlemen, we will also be able to witness emerging needs that will be able to be handled, especially the climate change, the gender statistics, and administrative use. The National Plan for Advancement of Economic Accounting will be very crucial in integrating environmental considerations in domain 2 and domain 3 environmental statistics of statistics classification. So ladies and gentlemen, the National Plan for Advancement of Environmental Economic Accounting aligns with the UN system for environmental accounting and is Kenya's roadmap to integrate environmental data with economic statistics. Additionally, also, ladies and gentlemen, the National Plan for Environmental Accounting is part of effort to mainstream national accounting, national capital accounting into national planning and economic analysis. Specifically, the national environmental accounting will be able to assist in developing and institutionalizing environmental accounting records here and there and data, thereby helping to improve decision-making by valuing ecosystem services and natural resources, as well as supporting the green growth, climate resilience, and sustainable goals. Looking back at the effort that was being able to be built from the first strategy for development of statistics, which was Kenya's comprehensive national framework for strengthening national statistics, we will be able to see improvement in certain results that will be able to feed into the vision of the country. So thereby supporting the decisions and the resources that have been able to be expanded by the institutions that have been able to support this. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our core responsibility now to be able to ensure that these plans are implemented with discipline, with partnership, and with urgency. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank all institutions, development partners, and technical experts who have contributed to these efforts. Let us continue to work together to deliver on the promise of these reforms for the benefit of every Kenyan today and for the generation to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Lintari. We now move, ladies and gentlemen, and give our attention to the Director General, National Coordination Mechanism on Migration. I think now that is the lady will represent him. On the program, it's Dr. Dan Opon. But let's appreciate the lady as she walks in.
Good morning. My name is Maureen Kiambote, and I will deliver the remarks on behalf of the Secretary of the National Coordination Mechanism on Migration, Dr. Dan Opon. He was here with us this morning, but unfortunately, due to exigencies of duty, he had to step out, and I will now go on to his remarks. The Principal Secretary, State Department for Economic Planning, Dr. Boniface Makoha. The KNBS Board Chairperson, Dr. Daniel Amanja. Director General, KNBS, Dr. MacDonald Obudo. Dr. Elda Onsomu from Kipra. Mr. John Lintari, Chief Officer, Economic Planning, Nairobi City County. From the UN Resident Coordinator Office, Ms. Madelina Munoja. From Statistics Sweden, Mr. Elesian Gomez and Mr. Davis Adieno from Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is an honor to be here this morning to witness the launch of the second Kenya Strategy for the Development of Statistics and the National Plan for Advancing Environmental Economic Accounting. This underscores our shared belief that robust statistics and environmental accounting are the bedrock of smart decisions and lasting impact. I take this opportunity to congratulate KNBS and acknowledge its leadership in strengthening statistical system in the country and ensuring availability of statistics for development planning and policy decision-making. The second Kenya Strategy for Development of Statistics and the National Plan for Advancing Environmental Economic Accounting are crucial guides on how we plan to collect, analyze, and act on data to power prosperity and safeguard natural capital. Without this, we will be clueless and merely muddling through miasma of statistical governance. This being a KSDS II, it is expected that it improves on KSDS I, demonstrating KNBS's ability to learn and apply these lessons in planning. Within these strategies, ladies and gentlemen, is embedded a strong element of collaboration and cooperation, which is dear to the National Coordination Mechanism on Migration. This is a government-led interagency migration coordination platform operating in a whole-of-government and whole-of-society framework. The NCM's strength lies in the ability to forge collaboration and cooperation with all migration stakeholders. As consumers of statistics, NCM recognizes the collaboration with KNBS in strengthening the production, availability, accessibility, and utilization of migration and displacement data statistics through the formation in February 2025 of the Technical Working Committee on Migration Data. NCM and KNBS are the chair and secretariat respectively. It is important to note that KSDS II will help in strengthening these collaboration efforts for the benefit of the relevant sectors involved. I wish to underscore the importance of this strategy and plan in our pursuit of robust migration statistics ecosystem. Although the launch adds to the many achievements of KNBS, it is as much an achievement for all the stakeholders. Ladies and gentlemen, the pursuit for collaboration and cooperation are not an end in themselves. They are means to ensuring and attaining policy and intervention coherence and harmony while ensuring optimal resource allocation and utilization. The strategy and plan we are launching today aims to level the statistical playing field while ensuring harmonized mission and vision. Partnership with both national and county governments, development partners, civil society, academia, and private sector remains relevant today as we co-innovate, co-plan, and co-implement statistical interventions at all levels of the Kenyan socio-political landscape. We offer KNBS our total support in establishing these partnerships and applying them to our respective sectoral needs. As we witness the launch of the KSDS II and EEA, today we are expected to visualize a Kenya where decisions are powered by real-time data and statistics, where natural capital is as valued as capital goods, and where no one is left behind because our data leaves no one invisible. Today, let's turn these strategies into stories of transformation, stories rooted in pragmatic evidence, guided by conscience, and driven by the belief that data, statistics, and nature are now increasingly the true currency of our future. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to a pause in the speeches, but we won't pause in silence. We invite the KNBS choir to give us a number as we organize the rest of the protocol. Thank you. KNBS choir. Thank you, KNBS Choir. Apologies for that. I know you understand. Our chief guest is around, so we need to move in a certain way. As we wait for him, I wish to invite Dr. Elda Onsomo, the Acting Executive Director, KIPRA, to make her remarks. Let's appreciate Daktari. Thank you.
The Principal Secretary, State Department for Economic Planning, the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, Director General, the KNPS Board of Directors, the national government representatives present, the county government representatives present, the private and civil society present, guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am delighted to be in this event where the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics is launching the second Kenya Strategy for Development of Statistics and the National Plan for Advancing Environmental Economic Accounts. This launch of the two documents comes at a time when evidence-based policy making is not just desirable, but very essential. The strategy provides a structured framework for strengthening data production, coordination, and use across the public and private sectors, which aligns with the national development goals as contained in the Kenya Vision 2030, the PETA Agenda, the County Integrated Development Plans, among others. KIPRA is a state corporation under the State Department for Economic Planning, and we are a sister institution to the National Bureau of Statistics. As per the KIPRA Act, our core mandate is to provide quality public policy advice to the government of Kenya, the private sector, and other key stakeholders. The institution achieves this through policy research, analysis, capacity building programs, and facilitating policy disbursement, as well as policy discussions on issues relevant to socioeconomic development of the country, both at the national and county levels. The richness and the quality of statistics and data generated by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics as the country's statistical agency is paramount to the KIPRA mandate. While the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics generates data and statistics, KIPRA provides analysis and analytical perspectives for policymakers and other stakeholders. This enables us to make objective, evidence-informed decisions. Our mutual collaborations and synergy with the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics as we work under the State Department for Economic Planning has therefore remained of great importance to the public and also to the space where we work as policy makers and also in public policy design, implementation, monitoring, learning, and evaluation. The two documents that the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics is launching today provide a much needed framework to ensure data and statistics are comprehensive and robust in line with international standards. This is a key cornerstone for evidence-based analysis and policy decisions. This includes the environmental data and the statistics as will be guided by the National Plan for Advancing Environmental Economic Accounts. The environmental statistics that will be generated through the framework will particularly be of importance and immense value to the Institute under the productive sector, where we work under sectors including agriculture, food security, fisheries, blue economy, tourism, wildlife, climate change, environment, natural resources, and now the KIPRA Economic Modeling Hub. The strategy and the plan will further inform KIPRA mandate as the Institute plays her role in generating, synthesizing, and applying evidence for policy formulation, which heavily relies on timely, reliable, and disaggregated data. KIPRA commits to work closely with the KNBS and other producers of official statistics to provide capacity building and promote the use of statistics in public policy. As well, we will support efforts to strengthen data governance, standardization, and quality assurance across the national statistical systems. As we all know, data is a public good that drives transparency, accountability, and inclusivity in governance. For the country to achieve and succeed in the Kenya Vision 2030, the SDGs 2030, Africa Agenda 2063, the PETA Agenda, the MTP4, and CIDBs, we need to get granular data to guide resource allocation at the national and county levels, as well as set up administrative data systems that are integrated and accessible to all data users, not forgetting capacity building for the various ministries, counties, departments, and agencies to generate and use data effectively. KIPRA and KNBS have a rich and long history of collaborations in research, policy analysis, economic modeling, and hence will continue with these collaborations in the implementation of the plan and the strategy that are being launched today. Under the governance leadership and also the strategic leadership of the State Department for Economic Planning, we will continue to ensure that the data that is produced provides evidence that transforms livelihoods in our great nation, Kenya. Some of the recent collaborations we've had with the KNBS include the development of the 2021 Social Accounting Matrix for Kenya, which is part of the vital tools for evidence-based policy analysis and simulations, and the KIPRA Treasury Macro Model, as well as the CGE model at the Institute under the Economic Modeling Hub, and also the Kenya Fiscal Incidence Analysis, and recently the National Platform for Food Security and Nutrition. All these tools, we've used them to support the national and county governments in developing policies and also monitoring their implementation. It is therefore worth noting that this strategy, which is being launched today, will require enhanced investment in human capital for data science, statistics, and policy analysis. This then will trigger greater data sharing and also ensuring that data is accessible across institutions, whereby we hope to have strong partnerships between the data producers, users, both in the public sector, private sector, academia, think tanks, and civil society, not only in Kenya, but in the region and globally. As an institute, we therefore look forward to further strengthen our collaboration to create more value for policy decisions, and also to ensure that these documents that are being launched today empower the various stakeholders who will be using them to ensure that as we produce data and we make decisions based on evidence and statistics, we are able to trigger, support, sustain development for the well-being of our nation. Once again, I take this opportunity to congratulate the Kenyan National Bureau of Statistics and also our Principal Secretary who is present for the support you have continued to give us as your institutions, and we look forward to ensuring that the documents are implemented from KIPRA under the public policy making mandate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Onsomu. Let's appreciate Daktari. Thank you. Thank you. And I wish to hand over the next part of the program to Director General KNBS so that he can take it from here. Karibu, DG.
Thank you so much, our MC for the day. That is Madam Katunge Kilu, who is the in charge of corporate communications at the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. To our principal secretary in charge of State Department for Economic Planning, Dr. Boniface Makoha, who is with us here this morning. Yeah, it is still morning. We had started the program, and I made the congregation get to know that you have a number of engagements, and actually the PS has just confirmed that from here is having another meeting which was not part of his plan earlier, and so that means we have a very short time within which to conclude on our today's program, so that he can also get time to attend to other matters which are of great importance too. And so we'll try to take a very short time. I came to learn that Professor Gwanda had joined us. Professor Gwanda is from University of Nairobi, PSRI, the director. And yes, thank you, Prof. He's a gentleman who has been very, very consistent with the Bureau, offering a lot of support, and even for this activity, he's fully been part of it, and we appreciate. So welcome, Prof. We had not mentioned the academia, and that's where we are all coming from. Thank you. So with that, our next moment, PS, is to quickly run through the presentation, just to give highlights of what the two documents are all about. I informed the team that today, normally when they see me on the podium, they expect figures to come from me. And I assured them that that is not going to happen today. We are not going to talk of figures. We are talking about the frameworks upon which statistics and credible statistics is generated. And so for that, I would request two of my directors. I have 5 directors, and today I'm dedicating 2 of them to you to make the presentation here. And so I would request the first presenter and colleague, when you come over, make sure that you speak to very few slides to allow the PS to do his bit. I don't know how Ben knew that he's the first presenter, but welcome. This is when Ben Avusevwa. Ben Avusevwa is the director in charge of Director of SAS-Call Coordination and Method, and is going to take us through the first bit of the presentation, the KSDS II, which he has also been supporting fully from the very beginning. And so it is just fair to give my colleague a chance also to share with you. Welcome.
Thank you very much, DG. PS, thank you for coming for our occasion. We are so delighted that at this important occasion, you find time to come despite your busy schedules. I will not go to the protocols, but only to recognize our board chair also, and the development partners, because already I'm speaking in the protocols already established by Director General. So you will have to skip other things and go straight to the presentation. I will also wish to ask the person with this to go to slide 4 so that we just move quickly. Because already the participants here have already attested that this has been a very consultative process. And we don't need to overstress that, because all the speakers are here have really attested that this process has not been a KNBS process, but a process which all of us have owned and participated in it, and we are ready to move to implement it. So I'll quickly go to why we need to have the KSDS. And as you see, we are moving into a space where we have what we call data revolution. In this case, we are saying that we have big data, we have satellite imagery data, we have scanner information. This now calls for us to have a different way of dealing with statistics. And that's why we are here today. Another point that we need to take note why we are here is because we are now living the space of digitalization. So it means now that statistical offices must also reinvent themselves to ensure that they really take advantage of digitalization to modernize official statistic production. We need also to recognize that we also have a lot of demand for statistics. This demand of statistics not only at high level, but we need data at lower levels. And therefore, we need to have a strategy for us to be able to deliver on that framework. We also need to recognize that we have international frameworks, continental frameworks, that we must align ourselves to in producing statistics that monitor these frameworks. And therefore, we should be aware, especially on sustainable development goals indicators. Another thing that we need to be aware of in this time, again, is a topical issue. It's about climate change. And that's why we, in KNBS and stakeholders, have recognized that one as an area to look at when we are looking at statistics. And in fact, today, the next presentation will be dedicated on a plan on how to deal with climate change statistics. That is the natural capital. Next slide. So for us to achieve this, we go directly to what are our statistical focus areas that we are focusing on KSDS II. We have 4 of them. 1, we are dealing with data-driven culture for sustainable development. Number 2, we must be able to deal with the coordination of statistical system, where KNBS is the coordinator. For us to deliver on this, we must also focus on statistical capacity development. And for us to be able to achieve all this, we must also find a way to resource mobilize to be able to deliver on the promises we are giving in terms of statistics. If we look at what we'll be looking at under strategic focus 1, next slide, that is data-driven culture for sustainable development, we'll be looking at enhancing statistical advocacy, public awareness, and trust in statistics, which is something that is critical for us to be able to use the statistics that we are dealing with. We must also look at improving data production and dissemination by state and non-state actors. Meaning here we must look at the modernization of statistics, and therefore it is important for us to look at what are the technologies that are available in producing these statistics. And very end under this, we must look at how now do we use these statistics that we have for evidence decision making. Next focus area. The next focus area that we talked about is statistical coordination. This is where KNBS is the coordinator of national statistical system, and we must be able to look at this and be able to look at, in this environment, how do we make sure that KNBS and within the national statistical system, how do we operate? In this case, we must be able to strengthen our legal frameworks. In this case, we are going to look at how we be able to revise the Statistical Act so that it does not look as an act of KNBS, but a statistical act that embraces statistics within the country. We'll also look at how do we strengthen the statistical coordination and collaboration among players within the national statistics system, which now we are now calling the data ecosystem, not only to look at the traditional government departments and ministries or counties, but looking at private sector and civil society as one of the key players, both at development and production of statistics. The next focus area is the area of capacity building. We need it for us to be able to move to the next level. As we are saying, we are already in the 21st century. We need to see how do we improve our data systems and infrastructure at KNBS and within the national statistical system. We must improve on the infrastructure of ICT. We are talking about how do we get information from one another. The traditional way of getting data through emails, letters, are not with us now. We need to introduce other means of getting data from our partners and how do we exchange data. APIs are going to be very critical, and therefore we need to strengthen our ICT infrastructure. We also need to strengthen our processes. Right now we have so many systems and computer packages that help us drive process of analysis and processing data in a quick time. In fact, even now when we are doing data collection, we are not using the traditional way. We are now using the issue of computer assistant interviews to help us collect data fast, and we need to also have other means to process that data as fast as it comes. The last area here, we also need to enhance the technical capacity to support production and dissemination of statistics. Here, we are looking at having more strengthened open data systems for assuring our users that data is readily available and freely available. Next. The last area of focus in this is about resource mobilization and sustainability of statistics. Here we want to look at enhanced leadership for resource mobilization and data and statistics. As you already a testimony here, we all are here as a family, development partners, government, and non-state actors, private sector, to see how do we drive this strategy to ensure we have enough resources to be able to deliver on these issues. We also need to strengthen our partnerships. Already there is a testimony from what we already have with the UN bodies, World Bank. Even at bilateral level, we have our peer statistical offices like the Statistical Sweden and the Office of the National Statistics of UK, showing us as a direction for which we can focus on in terms of partnerships. The last area on this area, we want to look at in terms of capacity building, in terms of resource mobilization, we also need to see how within the national system can we establish a center for excellence for statistics. And this is an area that can also help us resource mobilize. I think those are the 4 areas that we have been talking about in terms of statistics, KSDS II. So out of this, next slide, we expect to have a revised statistical act that reflects the advancement of data and statistics. We need to modernize a responsive and inclusive one-stop center for statistics. This is something that we're really passionate about. And in establishment of the Statistics Training Institute, enhance trust and data literacy among citizens, enhance the use of data science in production of official statistics, and the realization of power of data through enhanced official statistics by policy making and service delivery. The last part of this presentation, I want to just mention that in terms of implementation, which is the next slide, we will be ensuring that this strategy, as Davis was saying, is not only just a document that we put on the shelf, but it's a document we will start using and be able to start implementing, monitoring, and evaluating that document. And already we have already been summoned that by November we'll be looking at what are we done towards achieving this milestone within statistical system. So I will say these are the areas that we have focused, and PS, I want to pause here because many of the things that already been said, you will benefit from the whole document, but we really thank you for coming here. Thank you very much, DG, for giving me this opportunity to give that highlights of the Kenya strategy for development of statistics in Kenya.
Thank you so much, Director Ben, for that. I told you at the beginning that this is a framework that is meant to help us put together all the strategic plans on statistics in all the MDAs and the county governments. And we are working with all the county governments to ensure that we put everything together so that when we are implementing them, there is coordination. There is the same approach. We don't want to have any wastage of resources, so that any little resources that are available are put in the right place, being demanded by the need. And so it is a framework that will take us a long way in achieving most of what we require based on the changing scenarios around the world. And you've seen the basis upon which we are laying this foundation. And so at this point, I would request my other colleague who is going to take us through the National Plan for Advancement of Environmental Economic Accounting. When you see this guy walk, all the statistics are here because he's the one who is coordinating all that is coming from all the areas, be it in social statistics, where we are talking of education, we are talking of governance, we are talking of health, we are talking of population. When you go to the economic side, we are talking of agriculture, we are talking of industrial statistics, we are talking of, what have I not mentioned, poverty, everything that we are talking about, he's able to put all of them together and come up with a single digit that we call the GDP. For today is on this, which is also part of his area of interest. And so in the absence of any other person, you can always use him to present anywhere, on anything. So this is the guy I've just introduced. Ben,
help me appreciate my DG. Bwana PS, Dr. Boniface Makoha, the Board of Directors, KNBS, Bwana DG, CEOs from other government institutions, distinguished guests, all protocols observed, good morning. I hope it is not afternoon. I'll straight go to slide number 2, and I think we all agree that for us to produce the GDP that the DG is talking about, we need to use resources that come from the environment. And for a long time, national accountants like myself were accused of being blind to the fact that resources are finite. If you have been keen looking at the GDP, you realize that from 2022, fourth quarter, the GVA, that is the gross value added, or the contribution of GDP by mining and quarrying, has actually been declining. And the reason that has been happening is because our titanium in Kwale has actually been depleting. So we've reached a point where it has plateaued. Probably we are no longer mining more titanium, and therefore any other growth that will be coming will not be as a result of titanium, but it is going to be as a result of other mining products and quarrying. So that said and done, I want us to look at, just as an introduction, we are saying that Kenya is heavily reliant on exploitation of finite resources. And this is the need. You cannot have GDP that is continuous forever. When I was in economic class, there is somebody by the name Maldus who was saying that we are almost reaching an end because we cannot produce more enough to feed the population, but he ignored one fact, that we were having technology. And even today, if we learn that we are depleting certain resources from our natural assets, then we'll probably be quick to introduce technologies that we will bring in other products that we can use. I'm thinking of something like electric vehicles, because probably we know that oil is finite, and one day we shall no longer have it. So speaking of environmental economic accounting is at the right time, especially coming at a time when we have also reviewed, or we have another set of strategy for development of statistics in Kenya. So as an introduction, I don't want to go beyond that because we know. Then we can go to the next slide, which talks about the guideline for production of the environmental economic accounts. And the framework that we are using is called System of Environmental Economic Accounting. I will go to the different accounts that we have for Kenya. And this is an integrated framework that shows the relationship between the environment and the economy. And it reveals the society's complex relationship with the nature and helps to identify which policies that can be implemented to lower environmental degradation. So we skip the next slide and then we go to the 5th slide, which talks about the rationale. I've already said that Kenya's economy is heavily dependent on finite resources. Then another thing that we need to note is that we used to have MDGs, Millennium Development Goals. They didn't talk much about sustainability, but then they were followed by Sustainable Development Goals. We cannot talk of producing if we are not thinking of sustainability. And then if you look at the SDGs, 92 out of 247 SDG indicators are actually related to environment. And this is, if you don't have the SEA, then most of these SDGs indicators you are not able to respond to. Then we are also saying that Kenya has ratified and joined many international conventions on environment. I'm not going to mention them, but they are there, like Africa's Agenda 2063. And therefore we are saying that The environmental economic accounts will go a long way in providing some of the environment-related indicators that have not been forthcoming in the past. Then we go to slide number 7. This one is simply showing the steps that were followed in the development of the national plan. And just like the Kenya Strategy for Development of Statistics, it was actually an extensive consultative participatory process where we had bilateral consultation with government, within the government ministries and agencies. Then we had training on the system. Then we had review of the policies, because it's important for us to look at what statistics are we intending to produce and to what policies are they responding. Then we had key informant interviews with the agencies. Then we drafted the first national plan. Then again, we advanced to a second draft, and then a second round of consultation with government ministries. And then ultimately we produced the third draft, which is actually largely what we are launching today. We can go to slide number 9 on expected outcomes. One of the things that is foreseen by the plan is that there shall be consensus among stakeholders on issues on environmental economic accounting in Kenya. Then at the end of the day, we also expect to have a comprehensive environmental economic accounting system in place. Then we also expect sustained statistical coordination within Kenya and also with the international partners. And then any plan, you must also think of resources. If you have a plan, you must also think of how to resources. So we are also hoping that the plan also speaks to the issue of improving resources. And then the plan also proposes a set of priority accounts, one of them being energy. Then we have forest, then we have water, then we have minerals, and then we have ecosystem account. And then just like the way the KSDS was said, it is not just something that should stay in the shelves, but when these accounts are done, then we expect that they are going to be used in the decision making. We skip to slide number 11, that is talking about the methodological framework. In the production of the environmental economic accounts, we'll be collecting data through surveys, censuses, and administrative records, and also studies. After that, we'll have to do data analysis and harmonization. Then from there are the frameworks that are suggested. If it's something like energy, there is already a framework that needs to be populated. We'll need to do estimation of the outputs. Then we'll need to validate the results, then publish the estimates. And then as much as we are saying that we invite feedback from users, we'll be engaging the users even before publishing the data, but you cannot reach out to all the users. So even after publishing, we'll need to speak to the users and use them in improving the accounts in future. Then of course there will be need for monitoring the utilization and interpretation of the accounts. Then the plan is that at the Bureau, we need to mainstream. If, for instance, today, even as we do this work, this is work that has heavily been dependent on 2 directorates, production and macro. And some of the people in production are now almost as good as national accountants. It is something. So if it's energy, we would, the proposal is that because of the synergies, then it should be done by the section that is dealing with the energy. If it's water, then it should be dealt with by the section that is dealing with water. So that's why we are saying that the approach is we have the environmental economic account being designed as an extension of the existing activities and processes. And this is because it's easier to implement, less costly, and also enables integration of the environmental statistics in the existing processes. But that is at the bureau level. If it's forestry, in Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, we can never do forestry statistics without involving Kenya Forestry Services. If it's water, we have to deal with all the institutions, ministries and departments and agencies that deal with water. So as much as the coordination at the Bureau will be at that, we'll still be coordinating and liaising with the other institutions that are engaged in those areas. Then this is the priority of the sector accounts that I have mentioned as one of the outcomes. In total, we propose to have 6 accounts, namely water, forestry, ecosystem, energy, mineral account, and land account. The level of your screen, sorry, go to screen number, slide number 13. Yeah, this one. The coloring, the deep green shows that we already have energy account in place, and we have been publishing it on an annual basis. The other 3 greens on water, forestry, and land, it means that we already have draft accounts, but they have not been published. They are at the validation stage. And then the ecosystem account is, it has been initiated, but it has not made as much progress as the others. While mineral account, this one is still very, very down there. It's almost as good as saying that we have not started. Then the question is, why prioritize the 6? And for water, we all agree that Kenya is a water scarce country. We don't have enough water. And therefore, if you have the account, we hope that it is going to help in planning for supply of water, especially during the dry periods. Then for forestry, I think it's more or less the same, but most of the services offered by the forest do not have direct market values and contribution to forestry in Kenya's economy. And there is also the belief that forestry could be contributing more than it is currently estimated in the GDP. My first encounter with environmental economic accounting, I attended a training or a workshop, and somebody posed the question that if you go to Uhuru Park and then you sit under a tree, you relax for a number of minutes, at the end of it you feel rejuvenated, how much would you pay for that shade? And all of us were blank. So what does it mean? That some of these things will never be converted into economic. The value cannot be converted into economic, but they contribute to your welfare anyway. So, but these economic accounts will bring out those importance in a non-monetary way, and one of them being like forest. When we cut down trees, we know what happens to the rains. We know what happens to soil erosion and all those other things. Some of them will be difficult to quantify, but they can help the policymakers. Then the ecosystem account, this one actually looks at the way the various natural assets interact through the natural process. And therefore, it's not like the way you would talk of the forest account, but it connects these other natural assets. Then for energy account, the reason is because of a relative short time, power supply has actually shifted from dependence on non-renewable to renewable. At the moment, we have probably over 80% of Kenya's energy, electricity being produced from non-renewable, which is a good thing. Then for mineral, this gives the country a chance to take stock of the available mineral resources and analyze their flows, both in physical and monetary terms. Then I will not speak much about resource mobilization, but there is a section that talks about resource mobilization in the plan, because of course we cannot plan without resources. Then partnerships, I will skip. And then this is the organizational chart. Sorry, go to slide number 16. This speaks to how we should be organized. We have the National Steering Committee. This will mostly be, the membership here will mostly be the PSAs from the relevant state departments, the ones that are largely involved in matters environment. Then KNBS DG will be secretariat, but we'll also have CEOs from state agencies that are involved, like the water boards will also be sitting in this. Then we have the bureau management. Then we have designated system of environmental economic accounting in the bureau. And then we'll have the TWGs, one for energy, water, ecosystem, forest, and others. Land should also be one of the accounts that we should be coming up with. Then the question is where we are. We've spoken to this. We already have it's no longer the proposed because we are launching it today. We have the national plan for the advancement of environmental economic accounting. That one is already in place. We've been publishing the physical energy accounts since 2018. Then we have land, ecosystem, forest, and water accounts that are ongoing. With the assistance, of course, of the World Bank, then we have the technical committee for land, water, forest, ecosystem, and energy. They have already been formalized. We were sending letters, and we got responses from the various institutions. And then where do we wish to be? We wish to have a fully implemented plan. Then we need to have a set of the SIA, Central Framework, and the ecosystem accounts in place and published and updated regularly. Actually, we could also say that we wish to have more, because in the accounts that we have listed, we don't have something like wildlife account. We don't have something like the marine, and they are all there. In fact, many a times in the Bureau, we receive requests on the contribution of the green economy, the blue economy to the GDP. And if we can have those as also part of the accounts, that will provide the national accounts with most of the relevant data for improvement of the production of their contribution to GDP. Then we also need to have the accounts linked to policy and decision making. Then we also need to have the accounts assist in tracking multilateral and national targets like the SDGs. We said that we have 92 out of 247 indicators focusing on environment. Then we would also want to contribute to the work on ecosystem. Then how do we get there? We've already spoken to the issue of the National Steering Committee. Then a natural capital account, a section that is dedicated to the environmental economic accounting in the Bureau. Then we also need to have the technical working groups working and meeting regularly to provide, harmonize the data. And then we would want to improve on partnership and collaboration within Kenya and even internationally. Then we go to the next slide. What opportunities do we have? We have a fully mainstreamed and institutionalized, I'm assuming that we have already launched these. After that, we shall be having one. Then we have a very positive collaborative work environment with all our stakeholders. Then domestically, we have been having increased demand for environmental economic accounts. And then we also have a reliable partnership with international and regional and national organizations. And then we've also had South-to-South exchange with colleagues from the region. I think this year was it in March? We went to Zambia. Zambia is one of the countries that is doing very well in this area. And they're ahead of us in some areas, but I think we also noted that we could be ahead of them in one or two areas. And also there is that existence of collaboration and exchanges between peers. Then what challenges do we have? I think this one is expected. We don't have enough human resources. And then we also financial constraints. Somebody said that we should not mention about financial constraints because they will always be there. So, but they are there anyway. And I think that marks the end of my presentation. The next slide shows where any correspondence on the issues of the system of environmental economic accounting should be channeled to. And that marks the end of my presentation, so let me thank you, all of you, and the DG for giving me this opportunity to stand in front of you. Asanteni.
Thank you so much, Bwana Mushiri, for taking us through that. I'm very sure if you decided to not to use any slide and just speak, you would have done that. At this point, I would take the program to my board chair, as I'm doing that because I think I might not come up to speak again. When I came here in the morning, I was told one of my colleagues had just gone back to change so that she could come back again. What does it mean? What does it mean? That she slept here, isn't it? Sarah, just rise up. I don't know, you slept here with who? There was another lady. No, there's another lady. Actually, there was another lady, isn't it? Yeah. Can you stand up? There's another lady who was also here. Yeah, sure. So these two ladies slept here just to make us comfortable. And could we appreciate them? Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. So some of these things do not just happen. There must be some efforts behind them. So I really appreciate. You know, she's in my office, and anytime we had some changes, she would be very quick to deal with them. I tell her, Sarah this, Sarah that, you know, and she would do that one very fast. So I really appreciate. Thank you so much. So I would then now get to the point of taking the program to my chair of the board, Dr. Daniel Amanja, who is going to make remarks on behalf of the board of directors, after which he'll now usher in our chief guest, who is the principal secretary in charge of the State Department for Economic Planning, Dr. Boniface Makoha. And so welcome, sir, and make your remarks, then invite the chief guest. Karibu.
Thank you. Thank you, DG. I think mine will be very short because I appreciate the time that our chief guest is facing. Chief guest, Bwana PS, Dr. Boniface Makoha, State Department for Economic Planning, my board members, and at this point I would request, if you allow me to request the board member to stand up so that at least PS you can see them. We will make an arrangement for them to maybe come and talk to you at some point. Please, board members, can you stand up wherever you are? There they are. I can see Benson and the other colleagues. These are the people I work with, and these are the people who provide strategic direction to the institution, to the bureau, and they have been very cooperative and very available whenever they are called to attend. Sheikh, thank you very much. You may sit down. So I want to recognize all the invited guests. We have very many of them, particularly the ones from UN agencies. I think we had very lively discussions this morning about points regarding the two documents we are launching today.
And to say that they really mark a bold step and providing forward-looking vision for Kenya data ecosystem. They are trying to modernize the way we have been doing things and being as inclusive as possible and as responsive as possible to the needs of the country and also to the planet. I think the previous two speakers have spoken to it, and I think this is a big milestone. We appreciate the 21st century will be marked by centrality of data in the way we do our policy making, in the way we do our planning, in the way we do our governance systems, and in the way we do our accountability systems. Data will be very central towards this direction. And that's why, as an institution, we are making the statistics development and the data a very key foundation to Kenya's development agenda. I think the days when some philosophers used to say you could gaze at the stars and learn the patterns and make your decision based on those patterns, they are no longer there. You need statistics to make informed decisions. And these two documents are aligned to key strategic, to other key policy documents, one of them being the fourth medium-term plan of the Vision 2030. They are also aligned to the third regional strategy for the development of statistics for the East African region, as well as the strategy for harmonization of statistics in Africa that serves as a continent-wide framework designed to strengthen the African statistical system and support the integration process in Africa. They are also aligned to the Cape Town Global Action Plan for Sustainable Development Data that was adopted by the UN Statistical Commission in 2017. And it was aimed to end the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Most of the speakers from the DG to the two last speakers, the emphasis is on innovation. And in innovation, we are aiming at or looking at how do we embrace data science, which is very critical for big data analytics, artificial intelligence in the collection of data, machine learning, and the spatial analysis. They also emphasize on the collaboration between the public, the private, and all other stakeholders in the process of data generation. The emphasis also has been on inclusivity, statistical literacy, and youth empowerment. With that, as a chairman, I would want to appeal to all government departments, agencies, and the counties to align their statistical plans to these two documents. I also wish to appeal to our development partners to continue what you have been doing to us in terms of supporting, giving us technical support, as well as financial support. To the private sector, academia, civil society, please continue collaborating with us. And to fellow citizens, please do embrace data for empowerment and accountability. In whatever you do, recognize that data is very critical to whatever you are planning. Let's take ownership of these plans. Let's invest in data, and let's promote evidence-based decision-making. So with these few remarks, I wish now to extend my deep gratitude to stakeholders, experts, partners, and the institutions for their collaborations. We have all heard that this was a collaborative process. I also wish to thank the KNBS staff. They have been very professional. They have continued to show commitment to excellence in the development, production, and the dissemination of data. I wish to thank you most sincerely for that dedication to providing timely, quality data to assist our planning processes. And with these few remarks, it is now my great honor and privilege to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Boniface Makoha, Principal Secretary, Economic Planning, State Department for Economic Planning, to give your remarks and to officially launch the two documents. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Asante sana, Chair. I want to just start off by echoing our motto for the few years that we will be here. And the motto is data-driven, people-focused, and result-oriented. So you realize, good people, that we are within our motto and philosophy that drives us. I also want to thank the DG, together with the team of our two very good sisters, one being from our communication team and the other one from KNBS, for ensuring we sit comfortably and the venue is ready. We've heard that they slept here, so I just want to really appreciate. Yeah, that is a servant leadership kind of spirit that we encourage. KNBS Board Chair, Dr. Daniel Mwirigi. KNBS Board members are present. KNBS Director General, Dr. MacDonald, George Obudo, all Chief Executive and Director Generals, KNBS staff, all government officers present, representatives of our development partners, including UN bodies, Office of the National Statistics, UK, Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data, Paris 21, and SDG Kenya Forum, representatives of civil society organizations, representatives of private sector, the representatives of from the media fraternity, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Is it morning or afternoon? Good morning. It is both a honor and privilege to welcome you to this landmark occasion, the official launch of two pivotal instruments that will shape the future of evidence-based decision-making in Kenya. The second, Kenya Strategy for Development of Statistics, and the National Plan for the Advancement of Environmental Economic Accounting. Today, we reaffirm our commitment to building a robust, inclusive, and forward-looking national statistical system that not only responds to the demands of our development agenda, but also anticipates the needs of future generations. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as you may be aware, the State Department for Economic Planning is mandated by the Executive Order 1 of 2025 to, among other functions, manage national statistics as well as undertake national census, economic, and housing surveys. This mandate entails coordinating the national statistics, which includes production and dissemination of high-quality official statistics. Statistics is a fundamental public good that plays a critical role in shaping policies through informed decisions, facilitating effective resource allocation, and ensuring efficient public service delivery, thus fostering inclusive growth. In this regard, the emergence of new data producers that transcends beyond the traditional public sector has resulted in significant transformation in Kenya's statistical landscape. A dynamic and increasing complex data system now has emerged, driven by contributors from the private sector, players, the civil society organization, and they hold very vast repositories of big data, citizen-generated data, geospatial data, and other non-traditional data sources. Notwithstanding the above, the underutilization of these emerging data sources, limitations in data disaggregation, and inadequate investment in statistical infrastructure have underscored the urgency of a more transformative, agile, integrated, and demand-driven statistical system. Ladies and gentlemen, the second Kenya strategy for development of statistics for the period 2023-2024 to 2027-2028, therefore, is a testament of the government's unwavering commitment to harness the boundless potential of data and statistics, placing them at the very center of our national development. The strategy that we are launching today lays out a bold vision for strengthening production, coordination, and use of statistics across all sectors. This second strategy builds on a solid foundation that was laid by the first strategy, the first Kenya strategy for development of statistics, whose key achievements include amendment of the Statistics Act 2016, aligning it to our 2010 Constitution. It also achieved the development of Kenya Statistical Code of Practice and the Kenya Statistical Quality Assurance Framework. The strategy that we are launching today, therefore, provides a robust and comprehensive framework for strengthening statistical capacity across our country while addressing statistical challenges in the dynamic data landscape. It accords priority to the integration of diverse data sets, recognizing their potential to enhance quality and relevance of official statistics. This second strategy also embraces advanced methodologies and technological innovations, including data science, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. The strategy thus seeks to ensure that all data actors within the national statistical system can collectively support a modern data ecosystem that is responsive to one, national priorities as espoused in our 4th medium-term plan, which is aligned to the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. 2, to the regional obligations as articulated in the East African Community Vision 2050 and the African Agenda 2016. 3, to the international frameworks such as Sustainable Development Goals. Distinguished guests, these advancements will be instrumental in transforming and modernizing national statistical system, supporting the monitoring and evaluation of national development priorities, and reinforcing Kenya's position as a regional leader in harnessing data and technology for sustainable development. The 4 strategic focus areas in the strategy, as we've seen, include data-driven culture for sustainable development, coordination of statistical systems, statistical capacity development, and resource mobilization for sustainable statistics. The expected key outcome of the implementation of this strategy include a revised Statistics Act that reflects the advancement in the data and statistics landscape, an operational one-stop center for official statistics in the country, establishment of a statistics training center, institute, enhancement of use of data science in production and dissemination of official statistics, and realization of the power of data through use of official statistics by all policy makers. Today, we are launching the National Plan for Advancement of the Environmental Economic Accounting also for the period of 2025 to 2028. This national plan facilitates measurement, will facilitate the measurement of what truly matters. The forest, as we've been told, water bodies, biodiversity, and the ecosystem, thus ensuring their protection while pursuing economic growth. This also marks a turning point in how natural wealth is understood and accounted for in our country. Kenya's economy is closely tied to its natural capital, including what I've just mentioned, the forest, the land, energy, water, and ecosystem. Therefore, Kenya needs and is adopting a system of environmental economic accounting to integrate environmental and economic data for sustainable policy making. Implementation of this plan, therefore, will aim to expand these accounts, while at the same time generating comprehensive quality and reliable data that accurately measures environmental assets. This initiative underscores Kenya's commitment to balancing economic growth with environmental resilience, cementing Kenya's role as continental pioneer in integrating economic and environmental statistics. This is a crucial step in climate action, sustainable development, and ecosystem management. It is also worth noting that the National Plan for Advancement of Environmental Economic Accounting has a sectoral approach to planning through development of sector statistics plans, as we just been presented by one of the directors from KNBS. It provides a model to be adopted while taking into account the unique data capacity requirement for different sectors. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the future of Kenya's development will be shaped by the quality of data and the strength of statistical systems that we will have. The government is fully committed to undertaking appropriate legal reforms, improving coordination frameworks, and increasing financial investments in the national statistics infrastructure. The government remains steadfast in its mission of developing, producing, and disseminating impartial, high-quality official statistics that serve all stakeholders. As I conclude, let me take this opportunity to commend ministries, departments, agencies, and county governments for their proactive engagement in strengthening statistical capacity. I also wish to acknowledge and express my deep appreciation for the invaluable contribution of the civil society organizations, the private sector, the academic institution, for their crucial role in broader data ecosystem. In particular, I wish to extend my heartfelt gratitude to KNBS through the leadership of DG and our esteemed development partners, including the United Nations, the World Bank, the African Development Bank Group, the East African Community Statistics, Sweden, the Office of the National Statistics in the UK, Paris 21, the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data, the SDG Kenya Forum, and all other institutions and individuals who have contributed to the development and publication of these two documents. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, also just to highlight that Kenya will host the third Global Data for Development festival in June 2026. And this event will be organized by the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data in collaboration with the government of Kenya, and will convene approximately 1,500 data stakeholders from all over 90 countries. Participants who will attend, they will have an opportunity to exchange ideas, engage in discussions, and showcase innovations, provide training, and also foster connections that will help drive action of all facets of data within our society. And this festival that we will host next year represents an exceptional platform for collaboration, dialogue, and advocacy. It will be emphasizing the critical role of data and its role in accelerating our development. It also highlights the necessity and the potential for investing time and resources in data for development initiative. Therefore, in this spirit, I invite all the stakeholders here that you can purpose to attend and contribute to the creation of impactful content and networks next year. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we unveil the two instruments, let us remember data is not just about measurement. It is about empowerment. It is about giving a voice to the voiceless. It is about visibility to the invisible. And it is about providing clarity to the complex situations we face. Let us commit to work together across government, private sector, civil society, and development partners, so as we ensure that these two strategies, very important ones, that we are launching today, are not just launched, but are lived. Together, let us build a Kenya where every policy is informed, every life is counted, and every resource is valued. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to officially declare that the two instruments that we have presented before us, that we are launching them together. With those few remarks, I want to end there by saying thank you for being part of the success story of the second Kenya Strategy for Development of Statistics and the National. Merci beaucoup. Shukran.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur PS, pour votre comment. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now arrived at the section where our chief guest will launch the report, and I wish to be assisted by my sister Sarah and Fidelma. Kindly, chief guest, please walk to the area that Madam Mugendi is. Sarah will guide. For this, Sarah, when you're ready, please guide the chief guest. So there we go, as our chief guest cuts the ribbon to unveil the dummy. Makofi tafadhali. Thank you. Let us be joined by our development partners, UNDP, Statistics Sweden, ONS, GPSDD, SDGs Kenya, kindly. Very much. Makofi tafadhali, that is a report as it's going round. Second strategy for the development of statistics. Chief guest, kindly, we request you remain there for the series of photo sessions. Thank you, chief guest. After that photo, we will then have KSDS board members. That's the development partners. Do we have the books? They need to hold the books kindly, the publications. After that, KSDS board members, thank you. Let's have the development partners now. Thank you. Thank you. Let's have, thank you very much. Thank you. Let's have that choir. We can. That's a very nice number, choir. Let's have that photo. Thank you very much. Next, we'll be joined by other CEOs. We have Dr. Onsomu. We have Mr. John Lintari. We have the representative. representing Dr. Dan Opon. Dr. Sheikh, thank you. Chief guest, we request you still. Thank you. Thank you, development partners. Thank you. After that, let's quickly have the KSDS design team. That will be our last photo. KSDS design team, kindly, let's hastily make our way to where the chief guest is. Chief guest, we request that you give us this last photo. KSDS design team, kindly, let's make it quick. Together with DG, KSDS design team. I can't see Bashir and Kirui. KSDS design team, thank you. Thank you. Last but not least, we'll have the directors from the State Department for Economic Planning. Those who are here. SDEP, directors who are here. Kindly join the chief guest. Yeah. Thank you. Florence, directors from SDEP, they're here, right? Florence, please join them. Yes, how can you not? Thank you, Florence. Yeah. Thank you. That's the last photo. Smiles, please. That's the last one. Thank you very much. Thank you, chief guest. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, chief guest. We request you to, thank you, chief guest. Thank you so much. We request you to give us about a minute to just wrap up with a vote of thanks, which I will quickly do. I wish to thank everybody for being here. I thank you, chief guest. I thank you, KNBS Board of Directors. Thank you, DG, for your leadership. Thank you, the speakers who have graced this. Thank you, our partners, in a very, very special way. And I forgot to say, Statistics Sweden, thank you so much for facilitating the choir. That had slipped my mind. Thank you so much. We thank the hotel for accommodating us and catering to us. I wouldn't want to keep us longer. There's a lot to digest. 2 quick announcements. The reports have been uploaded to the KNBS website. There's a QR code. Please access the report, the QR code. And last but not least, we have refreshments out. We'll have some refreshments. We'll have and other dignitaries in the holding room. Thank you very much. Bless you. God bless Kenya. Asanteni sana.